Good morning. This is KELOLAND On the Go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
The Sturgis Rally officially gets underway this Friday.
So as the week progresses, we will see more and more motorcycles on the highways. The city of Sturgis is well prepared because they've been doing this for 84 years. The Sturgis Police Department recruits extra officers for the rally.
We have officers from all over the United States, essentially, that come and work for us. And some come for a year and others come for multiple years, We've had probably some of them come up. We had one that was a mortar officer that came for 43 years, sorry.
During the rally, the Sturgis Police Department becomes the third largest police department in the state. Many of the out-of-state officers who work the rally come back year after year.
South Dakota's 10th largest county is losing its auditor just more than 3 months before the general election. Davison County Auditor Susan Kipke says with so many people questioning whether elections are run properly, she worries about the safety of election officials. Kipke says she has no worries about the integrity of South Dakota elections.
Digital reporter Michael Dorn takes a closer look at the reasons behind Kipke's resignation in a KELOLAND.com original online now. With less than a month to go before most schools in South Dakota start, there are still 353 teaching openings across the state, which is almost 100 more than last year.
The current openings include teachers, tech directors, librarians, paraprofessionals, and support staff. For a closer look at the numbers across South Dakota, check out this KELOLAND.com original by Gracie Terrell here on our website right now.
Now let's get a check of today's forecast with meteorologist Brian Karstens, starting the day with some storms out there, Brian.
Yeah, we've had some storms continuing and storms last night that packed a big punch. We've mentioned several times during our morning broadcast about the severe damage that occurred from west of Murdo all the way down to Winter and in the trail of that storm. Take a look at this. This is the time-lapse photography. The updraft in that storm, a supercell thunderstorm, and it produced some really big weather, 80 to 90 mile an hour winds, and you can see some of the debris there in the background, and obviously some locally heavy rain and large hail. So a very, very busy forecast. Now, this morning, what we've been tracking is we've had some hail reports out around Salem at about 3:30 this morning. Sioux Falls has been picking up storms off and on. And obviously there's more to that as we speak, so keep watching the weather. The severe weather outlook this afternoon and tonight is north central South Dakota. It's also south of Sioux Falls. There's another area of focused attention there. It's hot everywhere. 91 Sioux Falls, 91 Aberdeen, 100 in Rapid City. That's a quick look at weather, and we'll get to our complete forecast coming up.
Thank you, Brian. With the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally kicking off this weekend, hundreds of bikers are already in Sturgis or on their way. We caught up with some bikers from Ohio who go to the rally for one reason.
The scenery. We like to ride. We don't go for the drinks and party and all that. We go for the countryside to ride. It's a beautiful riding out here.
Staff at J&L Harley in Sioux Falls say they'll sell twice as much merchandise this week and next. They say last year they sold out of rain gear because it was raining the first 4 days of the rally. Local fans of an athlete in the Paris Games are once again celebrating her win. O'Gorman alum Taryn Cloth of Sioux Falls and her partner defeated a duo from Australia in beach volleyball yesterday. As you might imagine, Cloth is inspiring current O'Gorman volleyball player Katie McKay.
So we can grow to be the player that she became, and I think just like watching her is like the coolest.
Cloth and Nuss will compete again on Thursday against a pair of athletes from China.
And that's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, as we pick up the weather stories here, again, that severe weather outlook for later today does include north central South Dakota. It also includes another pocket in the far southeast. If these storms do develop, again, large hail, damaging winds are the primary threats. We've had some ongoing morning storms, and we want to make sure we mention that as well. So it's a busy forecast. It's not just tonight and today's forecast. We've got another outlook of severe weather tomorrow. The southeast and all this heat and humidity is just a lot of starch in the atmosphere to support some of these bigger storms. So make sure you're paying attention because this time of year, these things can develop pretty quickly and they can have quite a punch, as we demonstrated that last night again in the south central area of South Dakota. We had several wind reports that raked all the way west of Yankton late in the evening and into the overnight. So here's Futurecast. I'll back out of the way so you can see the rest of that outlook there, and you can see by 4 p.m. this afternoon. The tendency is for this to regroup probably in Nebraska. The northern part of Nebraska looks most favorable. The southeast corner of South Dakota can develop some new storms. I'm not opposed to that. And as you see, the mercury, obviously, it's hot. It's going to be in the upper 80s, low 90s in the southeast, and we're going to be close to 100 in Rapid City. So now let's take this forward here and see what happens tonight. We could see some more storm development between Pierre and Mobridge. That is not necessarily being indicated here, but the environment is such that it would not shock us if that develops in this area. Tomorrow morning, too, we expect more development in the northeast. This picture gets a little more complicated tomorrow because if we have morning storms, that can get the ball rolling right away here. If we end up getting warm in the afternoon and humid, we'll probably see more supercell structures. In other words, these are those big individualized storms that can produce really large hail and damaging winds in spots. But of course, the question is, how are those going to be located on the maps and exactly at what time? And those things are a little harder to determine based on, what's got to happen between now and tomorrow morning. But I would be weather aware because we're kind of drawing a line from Watertown all the way south into eastern Nebraska and northwest Iowa. Any point in there could have rounds of severe weather through at least late Wednesday night and early Thursday morning. So that's kind of our tough stretch of weather. The rain at times has been helpful. We just don't need all that severe weather. 96 today in Pierre. We'll be watching radar coverage there late this afternoon. Pierre's at 100. Let's go right to that 7-day forecast. Once we get through this cycle of stormier weather, then we're in the clear and probably just hot toward the weekend, upper 80s and low 90s. The forecast here for Aberdeen is also stormy at times tonight, tomorrow, and maybe into early Thursday. And then back to a cycle of near 90-degree heat is pretty likely. Pierre and Rapid City, we're also looking at a lot of 90s to near 100-degree levels on temperatures by early next week. And Rapid City, too, close to 100 degrees much of this forecast. It is drying out in the west. That's also another problem. Morning details of course, more weather or at least information on the weather online at KELOLAND.com.